only teacher, I must say. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much for the elaborate introduction. And again, thanks all of you all for joining in. The master class, I think all of you know today, is all about one of the Murlis on 25th October 75, which was revised in the past week. It was all about the word which comes there is slackness in effort. But when you go and read the Murli, it amazes you that how this effort, which we all of us are doing on the spiritual path, we are going towards perfection, completion. Baba makes us realize that what sort of slackness do we have? And actually, I'm supposed to facilitate this session. I know that. So I have to take your sharings as well. But before I move into that, I just wanted to share a few things about 3 or 4 seniors from the organization. And the first one, it reminds me, was Mama. So we have this habit of looking at each other's faults, mistakes, whatever you want to say, and we try to become judgmental. That's the word which is commonly used in the outside world as well. And as I proceed on my path, I say, oh, I can conduct a very good class. I'm a very jnani soul, a knowledgeable soul. Oh, I can even conduct a good meditation class. So my yoga is very good. So fine, it's very good. I'm fine. I move on into that aspect. But this, in one way or the other, makes me complacent towards looking at my own weaknesses. And then I start looking at what others are doing. And it's really an amazing coincidence or a divine coincidence that today's Sunday Murli, which you will be reading later in the next few hours from now, is all about Paramat, Parachintan, and Paradarshan, which is looking at others, thinking about others, following the dictates of others. So this obviously comes to us all the time, and Baba keeps saying that why do you wear these spectacles whereby you keep looking at the vision, the far vision is very good, but the near vision is very poor, which means we keep looking at others, what they are doing, what are their mistakes, why are they doing like that, all sorts of such things. And when we get into this jargon of correcting people, that's what is all about today's topic, correction. We really lose the connection with Baba because Baba has never given us the authority to correct anyone. Well, then you all will say, oh, someone is doing wrong. Should I just keep seeing that constantly without doing anything? Well, you can, if you have such a lot of what we call in Hindi, Shubh Bhavna and Shubh Kamna, a lot of good wishes and pure feelings for that soul, you can always go and tell that soul that, yes, whatever you're doing is not right or appropriate, but that's it. In that process, if that soul is wanting to listen to me and is wanting to correct himself or herself, fine. But if not, I can't do anything else. And then I just have to stop there. I really can't go further and tell him or her that you have to do this. Because in that process, what happens is I lose my pure wish and good feeling for them. So here it reminds me, as I said first, Mama, that Mama used to say, she got this word from the Murli, that we are still not perfect. We are in the process of becoming perfect. And few other English words which rhyme with this perfect is effect and defect. If I'm coming under the effect of anyone, under the influence of anyone, either a good or a bad influence, I'm on a dangerous path because I can get pulled away towards that soul or even pulled away from that soul in a bad way, which is attraction and distraction, akarshan and vikarshan. And if I am still coming under effect of souls, if I'm not coming under the effect of Baba, then I have every chance to get into me a defect. And that's what Mama used to say. And the way of how Mama used to deal with souls is, if there was a conflict between 2 sisters, she would ask both of them, come, sit down in front of me, speak, tell your perspective, you tell your perspective. And then she used to say, now done, your conflict, now let us just resolve it. And how can we resolve? Just look at each other. Remember Baba, give each other good drishti. And each one of us has our own weaknesses. We come with our own baggage, but we are here for a common purpose. We are trying to establish oneness, as Baba said in the Murli yesterday, in the Sakar Murli, oneness. So let's become one together again. All of us, or both of us, would be different in nature, sanskars, etc. But let's give good drishti, connect to Baba, stop correcting each one and move on. So this was Mama's way of dealing. And then as I was telling you that if we really want to correct someone, I think the best way is giving pure vibrations and good feelings, as we say at Brahma Kumaris, Shubh Bhavna and Shubh Kamna. And it reminds me of one of the examples of Dadi Janki. This story is very good. I'll tell you a few other stories and then we'll move into your sharings as well. So this story is Dadi Janki, all of you know very well, served in the UK, London, for around 40 years, more than that, 1974 onwards till 2007. So there was a British soul, British body, we say. I mean, why I'm saying body, because the soul has no religion or culture or caste or creed. So it was a British body soul. So Dadi told her something. It was something, I don't know what exactly it was, but she didn't quite like it. And she got upset with Dadi. And the next day onwards, she stopped speaking to Dadi. So Dadi would be sitting and this soul would come, she would pass by, but not acknowledge that Dadi is there. And also even completely ignore her for that matter. And she used to not even say Om Shanti. So it was fine. Dadi didn't feel bad. But Dadi never left inside her the Shubh Bhavna, Shubh Kamna for the soul. She had the pure feeling of benevolence for that soul. And if I'm not mistaken, I've heard this story from seniors, I think from Jayanti Didi of UK, that this soul, even after a period of 12 or 13 years, she still didn't budge on that. And because she was carrying this hurt within herself, that Dadi told me this, how can she tell me this? Come on, she's a Dadi. Obviously, Dadi didn't, I mean, her demeanor or behavior wasn't that she's the head of the institute or so on and so forth. But, you know, someone can just take something and carry it in their heart or intellect forever and have this big sense of hurt. And then after 13 years, for such a long time, she suddenly one day came to Dadi, was sobbing, crying, and she embraced Dadi very lovingly and said, Dadi, I'm so sorry. I have wasted these 13 years in a grudge against you, and I'm so sorry, please pardon me. So Dadi, in a very cheerful way, she embraced her and she said, come sit down. She gave her some toli to eat. She said, in Hindi, we say this very commonly here, muthi. Muthi means, are you crazy in one way? In a good way, not in a bad way that you're really crazy, but it's a very loving language, a fond language. Oh dear, what have you carried? I mean, what are you thinking about? That's the past. And that is because she was telling Dadi, this happened. And I have held on to that as a grudge in me and so on and so forth. So Dadi said, oh, come on, that was 13 years ago. I don't even remember what I had said. All the more she started crying. They see, Dadi, it's my fault because you told I carried so on. So she said, now stop it, forget it. That's a big waste. It's a past of your life. Let's carry on further. And Dadi told her one thing, that whilst you were not speaking to me, but I never let go of those feelings for you, the pure feelings, the good wishes. So why I'm telling this story is because you never know when people get hurt by you, when you're saying something to them, either in the form of a correction or you're giving them some feedback or comment. It's okay. So I, as a soul, need to be strong. Today's blessing is about being a Mahavir, being A Mahavir it portrays Hanuman, which is the deity of strength. But Mahavir also, it means I have a lot of courage inside, a lot of resilience and strength. And I also have a lot of all those 8 powers which we discussed, that whoever is telling me something is telling me from their perspective. I don't need to react to that or respond to that. Okay, if I can accept that feedback, let me hold on to it, try to improvise on if there is something which they feel is not right and it's really also not right. But if I feel, no, if I have done something which is not wrong, let me just still have the pure feeling for them, the Shubh Bhavana for that soul. And this is what Dadi Janki was saying. And then there's a third story which reminds me here, because in this Murli, it is specifically mentioned that once we are on this path, for example, I look at myself, like Sister Harpreet introduced me. In the Locking background, I'm a super specialized professional. And the center where I go to, for example, it's not like that. I'm just giving an example that there's a sister over there who's not really very educated, and she is maybe not even 10th pass. She's just left school, but she's surrendered into Baba's knowledge, and she's there as a surrendered teacher. So Baba gave an example here that sometimes you say, or you become so egoistic that your Locking background comes into play. You feel I'm so and so, I'm so educated, and I'm into knowledge since so many years. And this sister who is surrendered here is not even educated. Forget being a doctor or super specialist. She's not even has had graduation nor nor high school, so on and so forth. So then what happens when I keep saying this to myself? I'm not telling it to anyone else. I'm just telling it to myself that, oh, she's not educated. So same thing happened with Dadi Chandramani. Dadi Chandramani is one of our senior Dadis. She was called Shere Punjab. She served the area of Punjab, I mean, in a very different way, I must say, very courageous soul. And one of the senior IAS officers over there once came to take knowledge, and he was taking the class, the 7-day Rajyoga, from a junior sister who was not really very educated. And obviously, she was not able to speak good English. The IAS officer was speaking all the time English. So he came and told Dadi Prakashmani that, Dadi, you see that you are in Punjab and it was in somewhere in Chandigarh. So there'll be many officer level post people coming here for the knowledge, who would be getting introduced to Brahma Kumaris, and you all should make sure you all have some standard here of the sisters who are giving knowledge. So Dadi accepted this feedback. She told her yes, like that on the face. She heard him off fully. And then she said that you all should make sure you all improvise on your sisters. So then Dadi directly told her, again with a lot of gentleness, she said, I do understand what you're telling me, but can you tell me one thing, what this sister has done, which means that young sister who you are speaking about, can you do that, which means that she has surrendered her life for a higher cause. She is completely clad in white with that badge. You know, the Brahma Kumaris sisters. I mean, they are surrendered in, we are also surrendered that way, being in householder through our mind and intellect and wealth, as we say, man and dhan, but they are through tan, man, dhan, all that. So they have given up their life for a purpose. And can you do that, what she has done? So that soul, that IAS officer realized, he said, no, I really can't do that. So she said, just don't go by appearances of people. All of you know appearances are deceptive. See what maybe they are not able to speak as fluently as you are, or their level of intellect is also not as good as you are, but they are doing the work of Baba, and it's a supreme soul, Shiv Baba, who has kept him in their Gaddi. Gaddi means they are in the position where they are able to read Baba's direct Murli for you, and they are sitting on the Gaddi. So do you feel when you say this, you're trying to judge or create a doubt on Baba's selection, which we should never be doing? So this will happen with us, whichever center we are associated with. Things may be, we will be having differences of opinions, conflicts. I say something, the sister may not like that. it's fine to give her a feedback or a correction. She may also ask, knowing that your caliber is in the Lokik world, you are so and so. So she may ask for correction and some feedback, which is fine to give, but let's not let go of that pure feeling and good wish which we have that he or she is my soul brother, right? Atma, Atma, we are bhai, bhai still. And I mean, coming to the teacher as well, because sometimes the BK teachers also go into this, not looking at it from their perspective that, oh, I am so and so teacher, I am the center in charge. So when we go into this I-ness and my-ness, oh, I am doing this, it's again a very risky floor to be on because nothing is mine here. I mean, forget even the center and all that. This body is also not mine. All of us know that very well. So if nothing is mine, how can I just create this thought that I am the center in charge? So all of us, we need to realize where whichever role we are playing here at the Sangam Yuga in this confluence age, either as a BK student or as a BK teacher, all belongs to Babas. And I really can't take credit of anything. Whether someone likes my class, they like my teaching yoga, whatever, or I mean, I'm doing good seva, I'm a good yogi, I am able to inculcate all the values in myself. So I'm really a big Dharana Murat. So no, I really can't go into that because it's all Baba Baba. And I think the more we surrender to this, what do you call this aspect, that nothing belongs to me, even these values which I'm inculcating, which Baba has said in this Murli beautifully, he's compared all of us with a rose. And rose, it is three things: Roop, Rang, and Sugandh, which means Baba was speaking about that you all are the rose flowers of the garden. And Roop is the embodiment of you being the soul conscious stage. Rang is, Baba said, Sangha ka Rang. Color yourself in the company, in my company. And always remember, I'm your companion with you all the time. And the third is about the fragrance, Sugandh, the fragrance of all the virtues. So when Baba says about these three things, I mean, we need to really look at Baba's level, what Baba is looking at us through. We know we are not these things, what Baba is speaking about. But still then he regards us to such a high level that, I mean, we sometimes feel that he really is praising us. And why is he doing that? Why is he doing all this jhuti mahima, false praises? Actually, it's not like that. It's not a false praise because he is not seeing our present. He's seeing our future, and also he's looking at our eternal Swarup, the Anadi Swarup, that is the soul, the beautiful soul we are, the purity which we have. So this reminds me of this. And there's one more story at the moment. I think I'm forgetting it's of Didi Manmohini. It will come to me soon because when I sit, I don't really like to do a class per se, but it reminds me of a lot of stories about dadis which I've heard from our seniors. So it will come to me, but there's a point which I'm forgetting. But I'll say a few other words and then we'll go on to that. Yeah, it was all about that. Let us know. Baba says that, and Didi Manmohini also has gone on to this, that never keep complaining. Because if you go in the complaint mode, we'll never become complete. So we keep saying that. Baba says that, my dear child, whatever you have, get out of you, vomit in front of me in Baba's room. Come and do that. But honestly, look, forget that vomiting in front of Baba, which is a subtle alokik vomiting, which means trying to tell everything to Baba, whatever has happened with you. But do you feel, is that yoga? Is my connection with Baba improving when I am just, excuse me, when I am just constantly ruminating about something happened, this, Baba, this happened and all that. So I'm all in a complaint mode, which I must say also is a correction mode all the time. Then is my really connection getting strengthened? And now look at when you vomit as a physical vomit. You know, when you vomit, in a place, say in a small room, if you vomit physically and if you keep vomiting all the time 24/7 there, what will be the I mean, will you be able to go in that room? It really stinks so much, because even if you vomit once, what happens? The entire room is filled with that terrible stink of the vomit. So now look at the spiritual vomit which we do with Baba, that we say, oh, we are doing Ruh Rehan with Baba. We are doing a spiritual chit chat or conversation with Baba. Baba is my only one. Who else can I tell all this to? Fine. Once in a while, if you can tell whatever you want, you can tell it. But if constantly in that room, for example, the Baba's room, you're constantly vomiting, which means you're just all the time sitting in a complaint mode. Do you feel that we'll be able to become complete? No, not really, because what are we going and doing in that room? Just simply doing, again, Parachintan and Paradarshan. Again, we are just telling Baba, Baba, this happened, and I saw this and I saw that. So I think it's a big takeaway from this, Murli, that let's not go into this mode of being in connection with Baba. This is actually not getting connected. This is actually becoming opposite. You're disconnecting from Baba because you're just connected to all the souls around you. And it is a big jargon of your karmic accounts with whoever you are into conflict with. But then Baba is not responsible for that. And Baba still is ever loving and ever pure soul, the supreme soul. He still will take care and have a lot of mercy on you and say, oh, my dear child, that's fine, that's fine. He may tell you. But is that really yoga? So I think we need to really be careful about this aspect, that let's stop complaining. Let's not be judges for each other. Let's be our own judge, and let's be lawyers for each other, which means what we do, Baba says, you are your own lawyer and you become judge for others, which means you start thinking, oh, that you are the great one. You have become the judge. You can pass judgments for each and every soul whom you are into contact with. And then for yourself, if you have any weakness, you try to hide it. And you become a lawyer trying to prove this and that, and trying to come out with, oh yes, that I'm a very clean, you give a clean chit to yourself. I'm a clean, pure soul. No. So try to become opposite. Try to become lawyers for each other, which means you will be seeing things happening very differently, but try to cover up people, which means make sure that you still have the pure feeling for them. All of us are on our journey with our own weaknesses. It's fine. Once in a while, they have done something, but let me not try to sort of show out to other people what they are doing. Let me be silent, be a lawyer for them, and be a judge for yourself, which means be very strict with yourself. If you have any weaknesses still within, make sure that you remove them. So be a judge that way. So I think it's quite a bit now I have been speaking. And if you all have any other things, I'm supposed to facilitate, as I said. So you all can go ahead with whatever you all want to share related to this correction and connection. I would invite your comments and as well. So over to any of you. Well, I think it is a master class where you're supposed to interact. Obviously, your videos are off, I know that, but your audios can turn on.
Om Shanti Baba. I think this Murli, especially the one that we are talking about, made us reflect and continues to make us reflect a lot on where we are actually going wrong. We are on the path of spirituality, but without realizing, we sometimes forget that we are getting sucked into comparisons, with our friends, with our sisters and brothers, and even those who are on the spiritual journey. We start making comparisons on he's doing this and she's doing this. And when we have doubts, we start looking at each other instead of Baba. And I think this is a churning that is important, and a reflection which is required, so that we don't get sucked into that kind of a, comparison mode. Om Shanti.
Yes, wonderful. So this reminds me of those 3 C's, which Baba keeps saying that also. The one is C, comparison, second is competition, and third is criticism. So I think we need to move from these 3 C's to 1 C, that is the C of cooperation. So yes, it's very important because it's just an intrinsic human nature. Even on the spiritual path, if I am there, I'll try to compare my effort with others. Oh, I am able to do this or not. This one is able to do that or not. So yes, very rightly said. We should be away from this. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you, brother. No, thank you, Divine Family. Thank you, Baba. And today I realize, Ms. Yeah, so rightly you said that don't judge others. Don't miss. Yeah, I'm also I'm working as a consultant in the e-commerce platform. So when I meet a suppose client, in this yesterday I missed 3-4 days example I tell that I used to go there as at that person that he is staying at that environment in a muddy environment he lives. So at that time I realized I realized that I'm going to there at that place. अरे शे क्या क्या प्लेस था किसमें वहां रहते हैं ये लोग है ना बट now I realize it is Baba's message that Baba's it is planning that you have to go there. So and it is ultimately all the planning of. So don't say like that. So that I realize is yes today's yes miss very good. Don't miss any judge. Don't company. Thank you, brother. Nice.
Yeah, so very well said that we shouldn't be judging because we really don't know what that soul's journey is all about. We look at people and if they say something which we don't like, or they say something from their own perspective, till that it is fine. But if he or she is telling me something for my correction, I say who he is. Why can he tell me like that? Does he know about his own weaknesses? Does he know his stature? So on and so forth. So we don't know that what this soul, because all of us are on this journey. The soul is on a journey. As I think it reminds me of Sister Shivani. She says this very often, that all of us being on this journey, we have taken, Baba says, 84 births. We don't know in this birth also, whichever relatives we have, why are we in this house? Because we have strong karmic accounts with each other. Therefore, we are in that house where we are living. And whoever is my neighbor, whoever is at my job, in my profession, my subordinate, my colleague, my senior, so on and so forth. So why am I with all those people? It is because I have strong karmic accounts and I really don't know what is that soul's journey. I don't even know my past births where I was. So how can I judge about, or how can I really think that what this soul is going on at the moment? And people have so much of stress nowadays. Everyone is really struggling to make up to their living or whatever. Like people have a lot of crises going on, financial, economic, personal at home, so many things. So we really can't be judging people with some comments. So thank you for pointing that out. So let's be lawyers for them then in the sense, take their
And
side, try to cover up their weaknesses. Yeah,
and,
sorry.
and another point I got, Mr. Do my best. And when I this miss when I do my best now, so it is miss it's improving. Don't misjudging and others. Okay, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So I also come up with this, experience this point that faith, right? So sometimes when you work in an organization, so there people have different opinion about others. So especially when we have to work with other people or a new person, let's say. So when we when we are new or when we are newly interacting with that person, right? So we might come or hear from others that this person is so and so X and Y. He has this attitude, that attitude, and all that. So if we take that and keep it in our mind and then start working with him, then our cooperation with that soul may not go well. But instead, this Baba's knowledge help us in a different way. Have a positive faith in that soul, which will eventually help us to change our attitude towards him, and then eventually his weaknesses or whatever that probably he was showing it with others, he may not do that with us. Our strong faith in him will change his attitude towards with us. And then he was not probably giving cooperation with others, but he would change that and probably start giving us cooperation with us. That means our strong faith and attitude towards that person is internally or probably working and then changing the way he was probably assuming that some people have some bad habits that which they would have developed right over a period of time. So our perspective and our attitude also matter, isn't it, brother?
Yes, absolutely. It's our attitude which matters a lot. And as you were speaking, it reminded me of another story of Didi Manmohini. And it reminds me that our attitude can be seen on our face. I'll tell you this story. It's a short one. So Didi Manmohini once came to Mama. I'm sure all of you know who is Mama and Didi Manmohini. So Didi Manmohini came once in a distressed state to Mama and told her, Mama, this, and her face started changing. And she was frowning and she was upset with something. So she said, Mama, this sister, she did like that, this, and all that. So Mama told her, come, relax, sit down. And her state had changed, her attitude towards that soul had changed, and her face was showing that. Because we know the face is the index of the mind. So she had all that thoughts about that system. So Mama said, come down and relax. Whatever you're telling me, it has happened in the past, right? So at the moment, why is your face becoming like that? Why can't you keep control on your face? Which means, fine, you're telling me something about her, but why have you changed your body language? Why is your face frowning? Why have you changed that glow, the spiritual glow on your face has gone? You have left your stage, which Baba has mentioned here, opposition and position. Because suddenly when we think of other people's weaknesses, what are we really hum kya dharan kar rahe, which means what am I inculcating? This is Mama used to say and Baba as well. Therefore, don't look at weaknesses of others, because whatever you look at will start coming into you. Same thing, Didi Manmohini was told by Mama that, why is your face becoming like that? That is the past. Correct your face. Fine, come and tell me. So this is what it reminds me that whatever thoughts I have about others, and when I say thoughts, my collective thoughts towards others becomes my attitude, as Bijit Bhai was very correctly saying, that my attitude towards people starts changing. And it all starts with that subtle thought inside, then my attitude changes. After that, my attitude, after that, when we say vritti, drishti, kriti, so my perception towards that soul changes, my behavior, my actions toward them change, and everything starts changing. It all starts with that one thought which I have for them. So therefore, we have to be careful. And here Mama reminded Didi Manmohini, whatever has happened, please just let it remain till there. Don't carry it on with you in your mind and intellect, because that will obviously reflect. It will reflect as a change in your face, in your activity towards that. So let's try to be very careful with that. And this is what is Baba says, Royal Maya as well. This is opposition of Maya. Because Maya has started coming, we don't even realize, and then I have left my position. And actually, it's not Maya's fault. I have left my position, which means the seat, the soul seat, which Baba says, I am not there in my soul conscious stage, not looking at myself as a soul and that person as a soul. I have left the seat throne of my soul consciousness stage. And therefore, Maya is just waiting there at the border. And she will just come and it will just sway you away or sweep you away into that flood of thoughts about that person. So it's very careful that we keep taking care of thoughts. Things will happen, but we don't need to hold on to those thoughts. Right. Anyone else?
Om Shanti, brother. Om Shanti.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just churning about, how does this correction really correcting people come? See, there can be one or two reasons. When I want to hide something in me, or when I want to throw a cloak of curtain on my inadequacies, or it can also be when I want to hold on to something, when I don't want to be exposed, I try to point my finger elsewhere. I try to say, well, the mistake lies there. But my thought is always, okay, forget I have my own inadequacies. But when I see something wrong there, is it wrong to correct? Because in education, which is what I have always seen, especially, if you are a teacher or you speak English, if you find even this happens even in the yagya, if you find speaking with a wrong accent, or we find people's kind of sentences are not well formed, a kind of a thing comes, we tend to correct. We just, it's like this, it's like that. But at that moment, we see the change in the person's face. So it depends upon whom I'm correcting, who is correcting. So in education, it was easier. But over here, I saw in Baba, especially in this Murli, he has really said that is one of the slackness of your efforts. So if I am able to check, is my correction another criticism, or is my correction a to bring about change, then I think I'm using the instrument of correction well. But with all this, if I keep in my mind, Baba has put a signal there. Correction means no connection. Correction means degradation. So I was just saying, what should be the ethics of correction in Baba's language?
Thank you for getting this. I think it reminds me of Dadi Prakashmani. She had this beautiful balance of love and law. Well, we can really not correct people because we are not Baba, I feel. I think when in the Murli also Baba says that, oh, you impure soul, you are like that, you are like that. It's only Baba can say that because he's the one who is the supreme of all of us. And we are still all of us on the same journey. And forget we all of us, even Brahma, Baba and Mama. Both of these are the number one souls. They are the Lakshmi Narayan. They have been given this post. They knew that they would be becoming Lakshmi Narayan, but they never had the ego of that at that point of time in confluence that, yes, I am Narayan. I am going to become Narayan. I'm going to become Lakshmi. So how can he or she come and speak to me like that? There's a story which I'll share if I have time about how Mama took care of a soul, but then that soul left the yajna. I'll take that later if we have time. So the essence of saying this is that even Mama and Baba, whom we have to follow, they never gave corrections in one way to souls directly. Even the Dadis have practiced that. When someone goes in front of them, what will Dadi or even Baba do or Mama? They will first tell every good quality of that soul. They will speak to them in a very gentle and loving way. They would tell them every good quality of they praise them not in an artificial or in a false way, something genuine which they have done. And then at the end, they would say that if you feel, that's the word they used to use, that if you feel that this thing, what has happened, can be corrected, you can decide what you feel. So you put on to them fully, have that complete pure feelings and good wishes, the Shubh Bhavna and Shubh Kamna for them. Start with, they're all positive things which they have been doing, because all of us, we know, have weaknesses, but all of us have also lots of qualities within us. So this is what we call the Gun Graha Drishti, which worked fantastic. It worked wonders. This is the way how Mama and Baba have nurtured all the souls in the yajna. And even all the dadis have done that. Dadi Prakashmani, this is what I said, love and law. So obviously you need to make sure that mistakes or things don't happen haywire in the organization, but there's a way of dealing with them. Rather than me directly coming and telling them about the feedback, I would sit with them, have a nice chat with them, tell them about their positive qualities, and in the end, just tell them this one thing and leave it up to them whether they want to correct or not. And I think if this is the way how the dadis have used, Mama, Baba have used, don't we feel there will be a correction automatically, because the soul will get so much of, the soul first is getting so much of love from that other soul who's giving correction, and how will that soul not change? So I think first of all, I'm not trying to compare. I'm not saying they are very high. Yes, they are obviously at a higher pedestal, but we need to learn from these stories. Therefore, I sometimes feel that we should be reading very often the book of Adi Ratan. In that, all such stories have come into being, that how they have dealt with people's mistakes and all sorts of things which have happened in the yajna. And that time also the yajna was same. Now also it's the same. Quantity wise, it's obviously much more bigger. But things used to happen that time as well. Things happen now as well. But the way of dealing, the way of giving corrections and feedback was absolutely different with what they used to do. So I hope that answers the question. And I think
to some extent it's there. I just wanted to know this correction, if really I have in my heart a change, not to compare and all, why does Baba say it breaks connection? Only that one sentence, correction breaks connection. I don't know in what context I took. That just said, oh, I don't want to break my connection. Let me not correct.
Yeah, so I think I just wanted to say one more thing. The intention matters for correction of others. If my intention is good, if I am with Baba all the time that way through my thoughts, then my connection will not really break. But the moment that's the thing, I think what Baba is saying is, the moment I look at other people, my connection with Baba instantly breaks, because I've started doing Paradarshan, Parchintan, those, and Paramat, today's Murli, again in the Sunday Murli, which you read later. So I think that's the way my connection just breaks off. I just have to look at one Baba, whatever he's saying, the Srimat, not Paramat, the Swadarshan, looking at myself all the time. This way, then my connection to Baba will be perfect, rather than looking at someone else. Right. So if anyone else has anything else, otherwise we have 15 minutes short, and then we can go into some meditation mode.
One perspective or reflection on this question that Girijaben has asked for is self-correction takes me towards connecting with the Supreme. But at the same point of time, if I am focusing on correcting others, there is a disconnection there, and it may take me away from I connecting with the Supreme. And as you rightly said, Manoj Bhai, if that correction for others is with the right intention, it's okay. But then if the other soul is not ready to get corrected, at that point of time, am I stable? That also would define how the correction has been connecting to the Supreme. So self-connection leads to a higher level of connection with the Supreme is one reflection. And when we look at correcting others, probably that may deflect, or there could be a disconnection there.
Yeah, right. So do you want to hear another story?
Sure.
So yeah, so it reminds me of this thing, as I was telling you, Mama and Baba. There was one big Sandeshi that time. Sandeshi is the one who goes into trance and gets messages for how to go further running the organization. So Mama and Baba, Brahma Baba and Mama, this Sandeshi was Pushpamani Dadi. So I am telling the name because Baba keeps mentioning about her in the Sakar Murlis as well. And she was the one who very quietly, stealthily left the yagya as well. So how it started, I'll tell you. She was a very serviceable soul, and she knew that because of her, Baba is getting messages from Shiv Baba about how to run the organization, all the secrets as well. So one thought came into her mind one fine day, that yes, it is because of me, I am so important. If I am not there, how will the yagya run? It's such a a small thought. It starts with that. So for everything disastrous, I must say the seed is the thought. All of you know that very well. So she said that, and she wanted to implement this now. All Maya has started coming in. No, it's not royal anymore. It's big time Maya now. So what she did, normally all the souls in the yagya used to have lunch at around, say, 12:15. They used to ring the, not alarm bell, but the sound bell at around 12:15, that please come down and we'll have lunch together. Baba never used to start lunch unless all the sisters and brothers were in front. They used to all eat together. So it was 12:15 that day, and the alarm went, and she still didn't come. So Baba was saying, oh, where is Pushpamani? She's still not here. So please go. So he said, Mama this, and Mama directed it to someone else. So some sister went and told her, oh, come, because Baba's waiting for you. And everything is just ready. We are waiting for you just to start eating. So so in her mind, she was like, oh, I am so important that someone has come and they are wanting me to come there. So she felt very acknowledged. And then she was trying to play around then over there, because mischief has started in her. Maya is playing havoc, at least in a very subtle way to start with. So she said, that sister, that please go and tell Mama that Mama should come and call me. Only then I'll come down. My God. So that sister really was taken aback by this comment of that Pushpamani. So she went down, and she just told this Mama in her ears. And then Mama was not taken aback by this. Mama was as stable, like you can remember, as stable as Baba, the Supreme Soul, Shiv Baba. So she said, okay. So she just a moment. So it was the traffic control. So Mama with Ishara, with just a signal, she just said, Mama Baba, wait, I'll come in a minute. So she went, Mama went. Mama was the head of the organization that time, all of you know that. She went there and she told her, oh, what happened, my dear? Come down, we'll have lunch together. Whatever is disturbing you or something, we'll take it later. So that time again, so in one way, we can't say Mama was trying to boost her ego more, but Mama was very loving and she wanted her to genuinely come down because everyone was waiting for her. They had lunch. This was day one, pack up, fine. Raat gayi, baat gayi. Next day, third, fourth day. Again, this soul repeated the same thing after a few days. And then again, she was not there. Baba said, where is she? So then that soul came in again, said, Mama, in Mama's ears, that she's again wanting you to come and get her down. So then Baba was not very, obviously Brahma Baba now knows what is happening, because he's in one way, Shiv Baba is coming into him, Trikal Darshi and Jani Jananhar, we were discussing yesterday or day before. So Brahma Baba realized that there is something happening in this. And then that day, he just gave a signal to Mama, let's start, let's not go there. And then this soul's ego completely deflated because she saw that no one is coming. Because see, Mama used to always obey Brahma Baba's directions because she knew that it is not Brahma who is giving me directions. It is Shiv Baba sitting in the body of the Almighty Authority sitting in Brahma Baba and giving me directions. So when Brahma Baba told him, don't go, she dare not leave and go and try to satisfy the ego of that soul. So my point of telling you this here is, after a few days then, when this happened, that soul then realized, that Pushpamani, that no one is trying to come and feed her ego anymore. And then she gradually left away. And this Baba keeps saying that, Bhaganti ho jate, Sunavanti, Kathavanti, Ascharyavat, Bhaganti, which means, how did this start? Because that soul had this ego, the thought, subtle ego, that if I am not there, who will get the messages for Baba to run the organization, so on and so forth. So she left, and then obviously therefore Baba says that many souls come and go. And I think we need to be careful with this story. I wanted to tell you all that I don't need to carry on with anything in my mind about any other people, looking at others. I only have come here for my Swa Parivartan, for my self-transformation. I don't need to look at anyone else, because as all of you know, self-transformation leads to world transformation. So looking at others, I may default, and I may sway away from my own journey. So I have to be very careful in this. So therefore, I think no corrections for others, only self-correction should be our motto. So that's the story which I wanted to share. Right, so if we are done, then we can go into the meditation mode, I guess, now.
Yes, Manoj bhai.
Okay, so let's sit back and just play some soft music as well. Take a deep breath in and out. Concentrate. This beautiful energy. Looking at myself, let me examine my journey so far. Look at my first day in knowledge. Full of zeal and enthusiasm. Having realized who am I, and also my connection with Baba. It's such a wonderful feeling. Look at yourself going to that center where you receive the knowledge. You didn't know anyone over there. And look at that flying stage of yourself, which you came into knowledge. And now, looking at myself after so many years, let me examine myself, check the level of zeal and enthusiasm which I have now. Things have moved on, people come and go, Brahmans come and go. It's nice to watch. I'm still able to retain the same zeal and enthusiasm as day one. If yes, it's fantastic. twice in this journey. One soul whom I can give correction is the self. If I do that, connection strengthens. And in my interaction with others, let me always carry this in my consciousness as if I'm meeting every soul for the first time. No past baggage, no influences from the past. Only then can I have a true sense of my own self-connection. Strong connection with God. You go ahead, Sister Harpreet.
Thank you, Manoj Bhai. Thank you, Divine Family. Thank you, Baba, for this wonderful session and all the learnings that we have collectively received from each other. Thank you once again. And we'll continue again tomorrow. So please do continue to join all the participants of the Divine Family. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.